Hi everybody, this is Jeremy Peoples here, and I'm here to give you some advice on creating an ebook. Now I know that the idea of ebook creation can be kind of terrifying. Everyone kind of pictures authors as having to toil endlessly for writing, or it takes a lot of research to get a book done. Now, it can. However, if you already do a lot of writing, it might not be that difficult or time consuming. If you reading or viewing this video on YouTube, you know that I have an About Me page, and on that About Me page is a link to my Amazon ebook. That book in particular is a 2013 year in review of TNA Impact Wrestling that at the time was broadcast on Spike TV. Now I will be doing a 2014 book and a 2015 book as well once this year ends. The biggest thing that I found to help me was the realization that I do a lot of writing that can be repurposed. If you have a blog, my recommendation, first and foremost, is to use that content. If you do very in-depth reviews, or if you do long looks at things, if they're not too image heavy, and if they are, well, it depends on the images. If you're like me and you're using screenshots of shows, guess what? You can't really use them again. What I've done to get around that is I just put links up to my galleries. On ImageBam, I always upload galleries of them, and that tends to help a lot for my purposes, because then I can reuse that gallery down the line and it costs me absolutely nothing. It might not look as professional, but realistically it's no different than if you're reading a book on, say, work-at-home jobs, how that book has links all over the place. That's the same thing with mine, only they are links to images, not to jobs. If you're wondering about a topic, I'm always just going to say that the best thing you can do is look at your hobbies and see which of these hobbies am I most interested in. Which ones can I get the most out of? Which ones can I write the most on? And which ones do I find the most fascinating on a kind of a deeper level? It's one thing to enjoy a show and you wind up writing 140 characters on Twitter. That's fine for that exact medium, but for an ebook, obviously 140 characters is going to cut it. You're going to want to do more along the lines of 14, maybe 25,000 words at a bare minimum for a short ebook. Now in the case of my Impact book, that was over 100,000 words, but that's also a review book, so it's a little different. It's non-fiction content, yes, but it's not exactly analytical content. It's more of a recap and then some analysis thrown in there. Now you might be wondering, how do you make a cover for a book? And what I did is I had a screenshot of a show and I heavily altered it, so it did not really resemble the screenshot of the show. Why? Because my image editing skills are not exactly the best. Luckily, Amazon has ways around that. What I did, along with beyond using my smudging skills, I guess you can say, to get my cover looking a little different, it really is just a filter I placed over everything. But Amazon includes a cover making template guide. Now this is a little generic. It's not something that I would recommend you use completely, because it is just a basic nameplate on the bottom and then your portrait mode color scheme. So it's going to be the title in whatever color you want, the book cover in theory, and then your name. It's a little generic, it looks basic. If you've ever seen if you ever saw back when Amazon was doing the free public domain books, that's the kind of stuff they used for that. It's very basic, very, very, very simple, but it takes no time. Now the problem with that, of course, your book isn't going to stand out at all when you're browsing through the listings. It's just going to look, honestly, it's going to blend in with the page because it's got, the web page has a lot of white, and so does your book cover. You don't want that. You want something that grabs you, that's interesting. So you have to look at your subject. If you're doing a book on, let's say, nature. Nature, something, I'm sure there are many books on that subject. I personally don't care about it, so I'm not going to read it too much, read any books on it. But let's say for a nature book, what you want to do is maybe get a photo of a tree. No one hopefully owns a tree, and if they do, how can they prove that it's their tree versus anyone else's? So what you want to do for that is take many photos. Now, you don't want to use something like a tablet camera, that goes without saying. You want to use either a dedicated digital camera, a DSLR, which is going to be a very high quality camera and might not be something you need for this purpose. Or use your phone's camera, which honestly is probably going to be better than most digital cameras now, and is, in some cases, with the iPhones and all, that about on par with a DSLR in a lot of ways. So you're going to want to take a photo. Now you might be wondering, well, how many photos should I take? I would recommend at least a dozen, and do so from a variety of angles. It might not seem important, but if you have, let's say, a beautiful tree and it's gorgeous, however, it fills the whole frame, that might not be all that interesting. Then you just got a bunch of green, and then whatever you got, whatever color you've chosen for your title and your name. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not the most exciting. You want to go with something that's riveting visually. If you've got a clear blue sky behind you, clouds, even a bird or two, and to really spruce it up a little visually, that's going to help you a lot. Now, if you don't have any of those things, you don't have the means to do that, you can always go with a site like Shutterstock or iStock Photo and purchase a photo. Now, that's a little more expensive than it really needs to be for your purposes, because you might not even make the money back you're spending on the photo. So you can also look up free or free use photos. That might be your best option, especially for something like a tree. I'm sure someone somewhere has taken a photo of a tree and released it for free. So, for that exact thing, you're fine. One book I've worked on and need to get back to work on is a photo book. That's something that might not seem very interesting, and it's just a way to broaden. In my particular instance, it's just a way for me to broaden my portfolio a bit and try some new things. I've never done a photo book. I've never really done photo-centric articles, but they're certainly valid. And in the case of a photo book, what I'm planning to do with it, and I've done so far, I just need to actually get some time and work on the thing, is compiled a chronological rundown of my cats. And might not seem like the most important thing. It is kind of a project, for one, that I'm making available to all, And it's a pet project, and it's actually a literal pet project, and it's also just one of those fun things I want to work on just to work on it. And that's probably going to be your best bet for something to do if you don't cover things, if you don't have a big amount of text you can already use, is just to go with something like that you can use as content, and you can say, hey, I'm a published author, here you go. There are standards, after all. I mean, sure, anyone can, in theory, put something up there, but not everybody is going to take the time to do so. It does take effort to compile the information. It does take effort to properly size everything, and so you want to make sure that your book also is properly formatted. One of the biggest issues with my impact book is that I just kind of threw it out there. And yeah, I can change it all a bunch if I wanted to, but I kind of like leaving it up as a rough draft because it's only $1 and it's free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So, I'll get around to it at some point. I've got other things to work on other than that. That was just something I made for fun and also to prove a point to myself and others that I'm not going to get into right now. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is if you're struggling to come up with an idea, don't give up. Okay? Jot down your day. That's a big help to me. If I'm struggling with an article idea, I will come up with a list of things that I've either seen or had happen and just kind of see where that takes me. With gaming writing, you'd be surprised how much that can help. Even if it just unlocks your mind a little bit, it's a little better than going, well, I'm going to do a history of this or that. I'm going to do a look at this franchise. Well, that's fine. That's all well and good. But it's a little sterile in concept. So when you've got some goofy, silly thoughts going through your head, like the other day, I was going to 7-Eleven and I came across somebody who was, I believe, cosplaying as the Left Shark from the Katy Perry halftime performance. So that dates this for the 2015 Super Bowl era. But I was highly entertained, and it just kind of put me in a goofy, silly mindset the whole day. And it made me write a little bit better because I was sticking less to formula and more to, well, let's make this a little bit more fun, a little more casual. And that's going to be a big help. Now, it might seem a little odd to go casual with a book. You do want it to seem authoritative if you're going for nonfiction. However, if you're going for advice, a conversational tone is going to be very beneficial. And if you don't have a conversational tone in your writing and you're trying to do something that seems like a back and forth dialogue or is meant to be a self-help book of some kind, that can hurt it. It can come off like a robot is giving you advice like this, and then it's not going to be the most exciting thing in the world. So if you really are struggling, then just look around you and just think, Maybe you'll see something that jogs your mind into a different, get your mind going in a different direction. That's rarely a bad thing. There are many ways to put a book out. You can make it. I'm going to focus on Amazon because that's what I did. But if you make it exclusive to Amazon, you get the ability to put it on Kindle Unlimited. Now that is a nice little deal for you because that means you get a little bit of money, and if someone reads it, you don't get the same as a purchase, but honestly, the per purchase rates aren't crazy high. If you've got something in that under $8 range, or under $7.99, you're looking at a pretty small royalty. The advantage, of course, is you've put a book out, you've got everything, and if someone wants a physical copy, you can make it available on CreateSpace. So, you can do that for yourself. I haven't even done that for mine because I don't even have a back cover idea in mind, honestly. It's just one of those things that you can do, and it does add a little bit of credibility. If it's been a life's goal of yours to get a book done, that's a way to do it. Now, the topic of making money is going to be a little tricky here because the way it is you are kind of limited with what you can talk about on the royalties. I'm just going to say they're not amazing. You might be thinking, oh, well, someone has 10 ebooks on the Amazon store. They're making millions of dollars. No, they're not. Unless it's a big author, they're not making a lot of money. What a ebook is on the Amazon Kindle level, and it's essentially kind of the fanzine of ebooks in a lot of ways. And I don't mind that. To me it's rough edges, but it has a lot of heart. And it's a way to show yourself that you can do something, and if you need a little confidence boost, I recommend doing a book, because it's a hell of a confidence booster. And I've used that to parlay things into more wrestling coverage. I didn't have to cite my my wrestling book. It's just like I compiled a book, and that's all it is. It's a compilation. I don't make it seem like it's more than it is. I put in like 1,000 words of original analysis, and then the rest of it's all just words I've already written. If you run a blog or you run a site, my advice is put that content on a Kindle book. You can also, if you don't want to put it on Kindle, let's say you want to do a cross-branded or cross-platform release, you can do that. Now, Amazon exclusivity is going to get you a little bit more of a royalty. It's also the #1 ebook seller out there, or ebook retailer, I should say. So it's going to have that, but you are going to limit yourself, in theory, to only Kindle devices, or devices that support Kindle, which at this point in time is nearly anything on planet Earth. Making it available on everything is a good idea in some ways, but realistically, how many people look at Google Books? It's you got your big releases, and then you have a lot of other stuff. It's just a matter of it's probably better until you're really established to just focus on Kindle. And that is my cat. Oh, yes, bud, you're going to be in a book. Yeah, you and Rocky are back again in book form. She's the cover cat. She's awesome. I was hoping she'd jump up here so I could show her on camera. Well, anyway, she's my Twitter photo, or my Twitter header photo. So go to my Twitter, look at Spud, see how cute she is. She's almost 18, folks. And she's a very sweet kitty, and she's circling me right now, and very distracting because she's so darn cute. But folks, that's my kind of quick guide for making an ebook. Hope I've given you a little bit of advice on it. And if you have any further questions, you can always leave a comment down below, or you can just send me a message. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of on Gmail, or you can just send me a comment or send me a question on YouTube. And I believe that actually forwards to my Gmail, so it's pretty much the same thing. But, or tweet at me, that's fine too. So, if this has helped you, just let me know. If it hasn't, if you want to see more of this kind of content, let me know. I'm trying to get into more of a knowledge sharing vibe with the channel, and this is step 1 of that. And in the future, I'm aiming to do a little bit more fewer one-take things, and I think I'm fairly good at these one-take videos, given that I'm literally just spitballing off the top of my head here. I don't have a script. In part because my vision is so bad I wouldn't be able to read the thing unless I had like gigantic cue cards, which wouldn't really serve a purpose. So, I'm going to look at just providing more information on this channel and making it more compelling as the year goes on. I love that cat so much. She is such a cutie pie. She's loud as could be, though, but she's very cute. Unless she gets away with whatever she wants to, because she knows she's that cute. But anyway, if you want to see a self-help video, sure, why not? I'll do that. If you want to see a video on the cats, I'll do that. Maybe pet care. That's actually not the worst idea. I've got 2 nearly 20-year-old cats, so I clearly know a thing or two. I might actually do that right now. See y'all later. Bye.